Hello everyone and welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with Oberon and Banshee. This is me, Oberon, with my Friday show, The Emotional Exchanges. Kind of a look into your love life potential or not, or just relationships in general, from the close ones to the ones that really matter, or maybe just are important for whatever reason. So I look at this through the lens of your astrology, so I'm going to read for the elemental signs of the zodiac, the air signs, the fire, the water, the earth, and then I will also throw an additional card from another deck, which is my keyword deck that I use to give a keyword for each sign of the zodiac within their elemental configuration. So today, because we're getting into the Halloween season, I've decided to use the Gothic Tarot of the Vampires. I'm using it because most of the imagery is rather sensual and or relating to erotic elements. So I thought, just at least for this episode of the Emotional Exchanges, it might be an interesting deck to play with. So, as I mentioned before, we're going to start off with the elemental signs, air being the first one. Air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. This one's for you. Let's see what is going on in either your romantic or your relationship part of your life. Okay, the first card indicates what is the emotional happiness or thing that will happen that will make you feel happy or contented this week. And it's a major arcana 20 reversed. So it's judgment reversed. Maybe you could feel really happy because maybe the conditions of judgment you may have felt over yourselves, air signs, has ended for some reason. But it could also be saying that this is a week where you're really looking at more mundane earthly things and not spiritual things. That would be judgment the other way around. So maybe you're going to have, a close encounter of the sensual or mundane sort, and it doesn't have to mean necessarily sex or erotic things. Maybe you're going to go out and spend a lot of money on gambling or having a party and getting very inebriated. But whatever it is, air signs that would bring you emotional happiness, or is it unexpected, one way or the other, it's coming to you this week. Now, card 2 indicates what your challenge is, the challenge to the emotionality, perhaps. And it's the reversed Queen of Swords. So I don't like having too many reverse cards. And this one's not a great one, too. The challenge really here is trying not to be too harsh on yourself in your emotional realms this week, to try to realize that sometimes finding the right decision can really be hard, and you might have to just kind of go it alone. And so sometimes if you're making a decision about your love life or your romantic life, or you're making a decision for somebody that involves emotionally charged things, you may feel uncomfortable having to do what you have to do, but that's just the way it is. It's going to be that challenge for you. Then finally, what will concern the other people in your love life or romantic or relationship life, the other people in your life that you just care for. Maybe it's just your neighbor who, is your friend too, or maybe it's a coworker that's your friend, or something like that. Maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your children. I won't leave out cousins or siblings. And sadly, we have another reverse card, and it's the Lovers reversed. And so somebody around you, what will concern them is that maybe they're They're about to choose poorly in a relationship or poorly about a relationship. They may be going with the typical, this looks really beautiful, this looks really attractive, and not seeing beyond some superficial things there in terms of judgments. And so it doesn't necessarily mean they're choosing a person, though traditionally the Lover's card kind of indicates that. So you can be sure, though, that it's a decision that will definitely, probably affect them not so great. And as a friend or close one to them, you'll want to be helpful to them. So now I'm going to go and do the word of the week for each of the air signs. And I think, of course, at this point, it's a little topsy-turvy, isn't it? Okay, well, that's just the way love is, I guess, or emotional relationships in general. So here we go. I just thought I would shake things up by turning the camera skewed like that. I probably won't do this next week. All right, so air signs, including, and of course first, Gemini. What is your word of the week? Gemini, you have card 21, transformation. In terms of what you need to do this week or keep in mind as a keyword or whatever, you have to consider that, of course, all of these things may be very transformative to you, to more or less reverse yourself from spirituality components to maybe something more mundane or earthy, and dealing with, having to do big person things and being of comfort. This will transform you. I think these experiences will allow you to look into yourself, Gemini, and maybe see where you can also be more helpful, be more open to changes. Okay, so now we're going to move to Libra's word of the week. And Libra's word of the week is justice. And justice. Emotionally speaking, Libras maybe have to really, it was kind of like that Queen of Swords, in a way for the overall idea here, that Libras may have to really come to certain terms and certain, I see what you're doing there, Mr. O. It's not going to work. Okay. In terms of being fair, making decisions, or facing certain matters of karmic justice in terms of emotional relationships. And that's probably more likely what it's going to be about, that maybe justice is served because something needed to finally go that way, emotionally speaking. Kind of weird. Okay, so then finally Aquarius. And Aquarius, you have offering. Aquarius, in terms of emotionality, you may be having to really feel like you have to give proof that you're about making these changes or making these understandings or understanding the decisions you have to make, and that maybe by giving some hope, giving something for people to grow with or to understand a little bit, this may be emotionally what you can do is offer to help people who have problems or who don't understand things. All right, so it almost sounds like Mercury's retrograde again, but no, we know that can't be possible, right? All righty, so then now we're on to the fire signs. Fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And despite the crazy camera angle I came up with, I do like the bigger camera lens so that I can show the cards better. So we're going to do that. So you fire signs, let's ask this question first. What will be emotionally happy or pleasing for you this week? What will cause great happiness? And it's the Knight of Cups, but it's reversed. And I'm wondering if somebody that maybe you had a strong or close relationship with, but you no longer do, maybe they'll finally get the hint. Maybe what makes you happy is that maybe this person finally, decides to move away from you because maybe they caused emotional pain, actually, and it's just time for them to go away. Fire signs say so. So then what is the challenge this week for you in general? And it is the Page of Wands. It's also reversed. And the Page of Wands, your challenge maybe is understanding that you have to make some of these changes or understand these emotionality things without actually, you're going to have to use your intuition. You're going to have to really not rely on messages or news you might receive because it's bound to be delayed or not come to you. Maybe it's even possible that people don't want to talk about this situation. I mean, if you're breaking up a relationship, maybe the challenge is being able to do this without communicating. I don't know if that's such a good thing, but maybe it's bound into some form of bad news communication. The challenge may be that maybe it's just really going to be hard for you to articulate what the feelings are in that first card. So then finally, for the fire signs, what will others that you are close to be concerned with? What will be their emotional concerns? And it's the sun. I had to really look at it because I can't see a sun here. I'm pretty sure that's the sun reversed. It's XIX, so that's 19. That would be the sun. So the sun reversed, it once again seems almost to continue the situation with the Page of Wands reversed, the lack of information or being able to communicate. And I actually wonder then if that means that there is a connection through all of this, and that it's going to be an extreme challenge and of concern that maybe you're not able to really resolve situations in this relationship that's falling apart. So there's not much more I can add to that. I think it's probably time to do our word of the week for the fire signs. So we're doing the word of the week from my trusty oracle, the Egyptios Kier Egyptian themed tarot. All right, Aries. Testimony. It sounds like it is caught up with this. It sounds like maybe I almost wonder if maybe some of the fire signs are having legal matters be involved in the breakup of the relationship. So it does signify maybe some divorces. This could also be about maybe other kinds of partnerships or relationships where maybe, somebody needs to really testify legally or otherwise about what the situations are. So I think this is saying you have no choice but to really speak to what the emotional problems are this week, or situations that could maybe be resolved. Most likely not. And then for Leo, you have the moon. And the moon, I think this is saying really you may be able, or you may need to be more uncovering of information that's going to help you here. So it almost sounds once again like it is talking about the overall situation. Maybe Leo, your particular word on this is that everything is not exactly as it seems. I mean, you can kind of see that with the sun there and the moon now, and there may be something to really find out, more than just, news or information that's being bypassed, but what really is driving the emotional breakup. And then finally, going to Sagittarius. And Sagittarius, it may not be as lucky for you. Sagittarius has the word impediment. So some of this may be very hard for Sagittarians to figure out this week. There may be more obstacles for them of some sort. It may be that maybe there are children or dependents in these relationships or other situations where responsibilities or custodies might need to be figured out. All right, so that's what I have for the fire signs. And now I'm going to go on to the water signs. Water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. They tend to be the most emotional of all the signs. Wouldn't you know it? What will bring emotional happiness to the water signs? Ooh. And it is the Queen of Wands. And she's upright. And that looks pretty emotionally happy. But the Queen of Wands, I think, is really, truly a lot more sensual and, dare I say, sexual in some respects than even the Queen of Cups. There's something that's just really fiery about her and ambitious. And that's what it is this pleasure or this happiness feeling comes from really feeling like you are in charge. You are able to be as charismatic and magnetic to others as you want to be, and that it could even become obsessive, the whole quality of the erotic vampire. All right, so then next we want to know, what is the challenge in all of this? What is the challenge emotionally speaking this week? And it is card 11. And oh my goodness, I suppose that could be strength, but maybe it's justice. It's one of those things where those cards often flip. I'm going to say it's strength, if only because the person is doing a show of strength by breaking through the glass. And in the traditional strength card, the person, mostly female, is holding the lion's sharp teeth closed or holding them open, one way or the other. So the embodiment here in terms of your challenge is you may have to really put yourself into some emotional pain or some emotionally challenging situation, fighting for what you believe in. And I don't think this necessarily has to do with the first card, but the challenge emotionally for you is that you need to be vigilant and you need to be strong and harmonize to the idea too that sometimes compassion and understanding can resolve arguments or situations too. And so finally, what will be of interest to those who you emotionally care of? What will be of concern to them? More than interest, maybe concern. And this time we have the Hermit, number 9. And people around you may just want to be alone. People around you may feel like they're into themselves. So this could be coupling. This could also just be people who are lonely, but maybe they're not really lonely. Maybe they just need time alone. And so maybe they want you to understand that, or maybe they want you to understand that they're hoping to really learn something from this, to get something out of this. All right, so now we will go to the individual water signs and see what the Egipicios Kier has for us. And once again, those water signs will be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, and they'll each have their own word of the week. So for Cancer, you have duplicity. This is your watchword for the week. Be careful around other people. Watch or be a vibe master towards their emotions. Cancers or the other water signs are usually good at that. It could very well be that maybe situations emotionally about relationships will reveal that there were ulterior motives or something sort of deceptive going on. Somebody just wasn't quite saying exactly what was the truth or what their feelings really were or what they were really up to. Scorpio. Hostility. Scorpio, get a handle on your emotions. It's very likely that you are going to express your anger over emotional matters, things you possibly feel you have no control over. Or in other ways, it may just be saying that you're just volatile this week, that things could make you feel a little bit enraged. So you want to watch that, especially if it has anything to do with the other situations. You know, sometimes people need their space. Sometimes, you know, people don't know the limits of their strength. So then finally, Pisces. And Pisces has the right idea. They have temperance. But what do you expect from a dualistic kind of sign? You know, the flowing fish, you know, moving in different directions, but still being sort of mutual. So Pisces, in all of this, you're looking for the emotional balance point, the emotional equilibrium maybe that you need to go forth emotionally, feeling, you know, what you need in order to resolve situations around you or just to feel calm enough to get through your day. Okay, so finally we move on to the earth signs. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Let's see what's in store for you in your emotional life this week. And earth signs, what will be emotionally pleasing? What will bring happiness or contentedness to you? And it's the star. No, I'm sorry, it's the moon. It's the moon. Upright. I know the pictures really have nothing to do with the moon or the star, whatever it is. But a woman is standing before a reflection, and of course, so that could be the moonlight, and of course, she sees one thing, but there is something else there, and of course, these vampiric figures in the mirror too behind her. So we're looking at the moon, and we're seeing the idea here that maybe what we are able to peer into and see as a reality, as a discovery, as knowledge, maybe has something to do with us emotionally. Maybe it's about finding out who really cares, who we're meant to be with. Or maybe it could be more simple things, maybe finding out that somebody who loves us is about to show us in a big way a present or something like that. You know, we're moving towards the holiday season. So what is the emotional challenge? And it's the Eight of Pentacles reversed. I know it's just an odd picture for the Eight of Pentacles, but there it is. So the Eight of Pentacles reversed. Our challenge is maybe we don't feel we are prepared emotionally to, or prepared at all to handle the problems that our relationship may bring. Maybe there's something serious that needs to be done, and we're not really finding ourselves willing to do that. We feel that we need to either learn or know more. Maybe a skill thing. We might feel that somehow the problems we have in a relationship need something more. And then what will concern those other relationships, whether they're close ones or their parents or coworkers or neighbors or things like that. And it's the reversed Five of Pentacles, kind of a dramatic idea there. And I think the idea here, though, is it's reversed, so it's actually kind of good. What we're looking at really is the sense of finding a way to be rescued or to rescue ourselves. So maybe this is saying those around you have been feeling like they've been on the outer fringe of things, and maybe now they feel like somebody has reached out to them and it's making a difference. It's very important that they don't feel alone in what their emotional problems or situations are. So we're not going to dwell there. We're going to move on now to the word of the week for those earth signs. One last time with the Egipicios Kier for the key word, the focus word, the biting word, whatever you want to think of it, the important word. Taurus. Cooperation. Taurus, emotionally speaking, you may think you have the best ideas, or you think this is about you the most, more than anyone. It's more about you, but it's not. And whatever's going on here emotionally, cooperation would really be beneficial. So think about that. Virgo. Oh my, Virgo too has to do testimony. I know somebody had that in the air of fire signs. So Virgo, I think this is saying that really you have to put your money where your mouth is. You have to speak your truth. You maybe have to give answers to somebody who needs them. It may be about this emotional situation. I'm not sure. It could be, because I see that and it seems like somebody feels better about how things are going, maybe because of you. So let's just move on then to Capricorn. And we see dissension. Well, there's got to be one in every party, right? So Capricorn, maybe from that emotional point of view, you are just not down with this. Maybe you are the one who feels you have a different point of view here, and you're not feeling like you're coming across for some reason, or when it comes to whatever's going on emotionally, you're just against it. If there's some breakup happening, something like that, or if there's something duplicitous happening behind your back, you're against it. Dissent. Well, that's an interesting emotional week for us. So I think it's one of those things we're just going to have to check in next time and see how we did here. But I thank you once again for watching. And don't forget to watch the happy hour tomorrow, as well as Saturday's Material Matters by my wife Banshee. And then later on, we'll be back for our live stream at 2 p.m. So take care, everyone, and we will see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.